Welcome. I'm 420 Jim, your host. Uh, Maybe we'll get a couple people in here, and I'll just tell you a couple stories today if you like. I've been a cannabis advocate for going on 12 years now. On the road, almost the whole 12 years. No, my name never started out as 420 Jim. Matter of fact, my first name used to be Jim. Give me a second. But that's another whole story. Now, I was in my 50s, early 50s, living in Farmington, New Mexico, minding my own business, doing the flea market and stuff, working. Hey, how you doing, Sean? I'm just reminiscing old times. Glad to see you join in. And it all started out from a little simple car accident. Me and a friend was sitting in a pickup truck. Oh, that's great. That's great. Stay bundled up and stay warm. Yep, it was winter time when this happened, matter of fact, because me and my friend sitting at a red light. And there's a little hill behind us. You come down before the red light. And it was winter time, and it was icy, and it was snow, and you shouldn't be driving slick and fast, but people do. And a Comcast truck comes down and wham, hits us in the rear end. No big deal, you know. It's a company, says Comcast on the side and everything. You'd figure no problem. Yeah, big problem. When me and my girlfriend at the time went to go talk to Comcast, they threw us off the property and had me trespassed by law enforcement. Yeah, they had hired a company out of Colorado to come into New Mexico to do cable work, and it didn't matter whether they had insurance or not, because when they hired them, they told them they did. But it wasn't their job to care whether they did or not, basically. So when I found out that they had no insurance, I pissed, moaned, and bitched about it because, you know, that's just unfair. Everybody else has got to have it or we get a ticket. And if Ed gave him a ticket for no insurance, I wouldn't have to sit and fight and whatever, you know, in a court of law, get a lawyer and all that. And I simply just wanted basically my medical bills taken care of. You know, if they wanted to throw in a couple hundred for pain, that'd be cool. But it's mainly the bills. Well, the second time that I complained, they told me I had to come down there and fill out the complaint. And so I did. I went down and I filled out the complaint against the officer because he didn't write Comcast cable a ticket for no insurance. I mean, come on, it's a company. Why do they get a break? Hello. If it was you or me, we wouldn't get that type break. We would have that ticket, you know what I mean? So the third time I did do that, I went down there and I signed the complaint against the sheriff deputy, you know? And of course it didn't really do nothing except piss the deputy off. That's what it did. He used the entire G2 drug task force there in Farmington, New Mexico, well, San Juan County, where I lived, and they decided to go after me like I was some big-time pot dealer or something. First, they tried to set me up with meth, but I don't have nothing to do with that, so that didn't work. But pot, that was another thing. They sent a guy that I'd smoked the joint with a few times out at the flea market, you know. He'd come by, we'd burn one, his, mine, whatever. You know, that's how we knew each other. And he comes by in a pickup truck. And there's another guy with him and a bunch of tools in the back, you know, weed eater, mower, all that kind of crap stuff, whatever. Hey, we're headed to work. Can you help me get a couple grams of weed, man? Very seldom people ask me that, you know. Back then, like I say, I worked everything, did the flea market and all. And I'm sure. And I made a phone call. 10 minutes later, pickup truck pulled up. I don't know, they gave me $20, $30, whatever it was, and I handed it to him. And he gave me the 2 grams of weed, and I went back and handed it to them. And everybody drove off. I didn't even get $1 or a sniff of the weed. I mean, that's how I was treated. But they were, both friends. I just did it for the friendship. The next day, around lunchtime, he calls and wants to do the same thing. So once again, I call my friend, and I don't call him out on it and say, hey, man, I didn't make nothing yesterday. Y'all go, of course I didn't do that or nothing. But the same thing happened, and they come by and they picked up a couple grams. Next thing I know, which I'd forgotten all about that. Well, thank you about the beard. Oh, right on. I'm heading in. Damn. Now I forgot. I forgot all about the. Damn. I lost track where I was at. I went off and seen that sick beard comment. I loved it. So, damn. Where was I at? Oh. Now I got to try and remember where I was at in the story. That happens sometimes with my lives. I'm old. Interview here. Hey, how you doing, man? How you doing? The knob experience. There you go. Oh yeah. He came back the next day for a couple grams, and same thing happens. Blue pickup truck pulls up. I get the boy go there, get the money, and take care of it, and they're gone. About a month later, I'd forgotten all about it. About a month later, it was the flea market. It was a Saturday, and I had a friend, Jim Gooch, a real good friend of mine. He's the one that owned the truck that we got hit in and all. And matter of fact, it was the same truck. That particular Saturday, I needed to go into town and pick something up that me and him bought at a storage unit or something. I forget what it was. But I had to leave the flea market to go pick it up. And so I'm like, hey, Jim, can I use it? Sure, go ahead. I returned 45 minutes or so later, and I get it unloaded over at my stand, what it was. I go over to talk to Jim, and he says, hey, what are you doing with the marshals? And I'm like, what do you mean? And he said, well, they were here looking for you. Said you was helping them out, and they need to talk to you. And I'm like, I'm not helping the marshals out. And I'm like, helping them out? What are you talking about? The marshals were here for me? And he said, yeah. And I said, Jim, I don't know what you're talking about, but I know I'm going to jail. That's all I know. Will you watch my stuff? Because they said they'd come back in a little bit. And I said, well, you make sure you watch all my stuff or whatever. I'm going to jail today. I don't know why. But the only time the marshals are looking for you is when a judge puts an order out that he wants you in his court. That I know. So I go over to the office, and Kathy, she's in her 70s. I think she's about 71 or 2 then. One of the nicest ladies you ever met or whatever. She says, what are you helping the marshals with? And I went, Kathy, I'm not helping them with nothing. She said, yeah, they said you was helping them with them, and they'd be back in a little bit. And I'm like, Kathy, same thing. I got to tell you, I have no idea. And at that time, I had no idea what was going on. I knew I was going to go to jail, that no matter what I said to them marshals, I was going to go to jail. I just didn't know why. And sure enough, I leave the office, I go back over to my stand. About 20 minutes later, here comes a pickup truck pulling through the flea market. And they park, and I just walk over to them with my hands out like this, and sure enough, they had me put my hands behind my back, and they put me under arrest. And they take me to a substation of the police sheriff's department. And we're sitting in this big, I guess, briefing area. And it's me, the 2 marshals, and this deputy comes in. And it looks like the same asswipe deputy that I made the complaint against. I can't swear it was him, but I think it was. Same ad, same everything. And he's laughing at me, and he's, we got you. Selling meth, you idiot. And I looked at him, I said, the only idiot in this whole building is you if you think that I was selling meth or anything. You're a lunatic. He says, I bet you $100 we've got you selling meth. And I said, Marshals, you see this and whatnot, and he will never pay up. But you understand? Well, we don't know what you're in here for. And I told him, I said, well, he says that they got me on tape selling meth, and he just bet me $100 they did. Watch him wimp out of that. And they ran him off because they could tell he was getting me aggravated, trying to say that they had me for selling meth. And we all know someone was snitching. It was the guy in the red truck. Yeah, I'm getting to that. I didn't know it, but yeah, you're absolutely right. So I'm sitting there, and they get me come down, and I'd been there about 15 minutes or so. And they're like, well, the police want to talk to you, this, that, and the other. We don't. And I'm like, man, if they want to talk to me, they need to come now. Because otherwise, they need to talk to my lawyer, book me in, or let me go. I mean, I don't even want to be in charge for it. And about that time, one of their phones ring, and he says, hey, just to be aware, they're here to interview you now, and they're going to be coming in with their face covered, the ski mask type things. We just wanted to let you know so don't freak you out. And as soon as they came in and sat down, the one guy closest to me, I didn't know who he was. But as soon as he sat down and said something, I told him, you can take your hood off. You're the guy in the red pickup truck that was sitting with my friend. I know exactly who you are. What the hell you can tell me you got me trying to sell meth and stuff? He said, no, we had you for 2 counts of sales of marijuana. I said, okay, now that might be right. You could be charging me for that. But this meth, he said, well, we're not concerned about meth, this, that, and the other. But I proved right there the sheriff deputy being a liar, what he was. And I told him, I says, well, you know what? You had me on audio and video. I'm not going to tell you that I didn't help someone get a little bit of weed. I mean, you set me up right there. I'm going to take it to court, and I'm going to fight it. Book me. Let me go. And that's exactly what they did. They booked me, and I was out on bond. Well, your first hearing you go to was like the next day. And I met a guy for all of 2 minutes, out in the hallway type deal that was going to be my public defender at the arraignment, the first hearing. And he's like, well, what did blah, blah, blah. And I was like, dude, I want to take it to jury trial. I want this you to understand that you said you would represent me zealously in your oath, correct? And he looked at me funny and he said, yeah. And I said, the state's got to prove all points of their case, correct? And he's like, yeah. And I said, I just want them to prove one point of their case. What narcotic is in marijuana? And he's, what? And I said, I want them to have a chemist to come into court and swear what narcotic is in marijuana. Because I've got friends that swear that they're chemists and there's none, and they will come into court and testify to the same. Let's get it in court and find out who's right. The state needs to prove to my jury what narcotic is in marijuana. He's like, okay, we're going to be called up in a couple of minutes, blah, blah, blah. Sure enough, I no more sat back down in the courtroom after talking to him in the hallway. 3-4 minutes go by. He calls me up. I walk up, and the public pretender said, Your Honor, I want to recuse myself from this case. And I'm like, wow, man, I'm just talking to a guy, and he was going to be my attorney and all. Now he don't want nothing to do with me. So the judge just looks at him and says, yeah, blah, 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 and looks at me and says, Mr. Stevens, back then my name was Jim Stevens. He said, Mr. Stevens, we got to get you another lawyer. Please go down and see the public defenders again, and we'll get you back in here with a new lawyer, sir. What can you do? I mean, you can't do nothing about them. Yes, sir. So I played their game. I went down there to the public pretender's office, signed in, whatnot, and got my new public pretender assigned to me. I get to talk to him, and hang on. I'll take some look. That threw me off. I asked him the same thing. I said, are you aware that I know that, you took an oath to represent me zealously? A public pretender takes an oath. If you look at their oath, when they go in to swearing, it is to represent their client zealously. That's the word it uses. When you pay them, they don't mind lying and stuff. The zealously part. But I go to this second lawyer. I tell him the same thing as the first. I expect you to represent me zealously. I expect you to have them prove to my jury what narcotic is in marijuana. Because I don't think there is one, and I need proof that there is. And let's get it out in the courts. And he's like, yeah, okay, yeah, no problem, Mr. Yeah, we can do that, I'll see you tomorrow at court. I'm like, cool, everything's good to go, right? Wrong. Hey, give me a second, get a drink, I'll be right back. Now, the first attorney accused himself. Now I've got this second attorney, of course. Go through the whole spiel with him. He tells me how, he'll take it all the way to trial for me and everything. And the next day I meet him at the courthouse. Let me put this soda bag away. And somewhere between our conversation and standing in front of that judge, the guy decided to go the opposite. He was talking to the judge about drug court, drug probation, and this, that, and the other. I'm like, whoa, Your Honor, who is this guy? It's your attorney. No, he ain't. No, he ain't. I don't agree to anything that man says or does. No, he ain't. And the judge, therefore, said, are you going to fire this attorney? I said, he ain't my attorney, Your Honor. And the judge said, well, you have the right to fire the attorney. We got to seek you another attorney, Mr. Stevens. And they tried to pull a quick one with a guy named Cosmo Repo. What a name. But that was the third attorney. They made me think he was a private attorney, but he is a public defender that had a private practice on the side, and that's why they had me meet him at his office instead down at the public defender's office. They tried to, we got you a private attorney type thing, and it wasn't. But meanwhile, I go to other attorneys, ask them, what's it going to cost me, to defend myself? And a guy named Eric Marlowe said for $5,000, he would turn it around to entrapment and get me off. Well, if I had $5,000, I would have done that. So I'm stuck with the public pretenders, and now I'm going to go see number 3. A little voice in my head. That little angel, we have a devil and angel in us. That little angel showed up that day and whispered to me, if I was you, I'd turn my phone recorder on. You know how many times I've never thought of that? All of our phones have a recorder on them, and all you got to do is turn the recorder on and slip that in your pocket. And then if you're in a one-party state, which most states are, perfectly legal. As long as one person knows it's being recorded and you're part of that conversation, you're that person. It works out great. Well, anyhow, something told me to turn my phone on, record. And I do that ever since this. 12 years ago, I've been doing this. And trust me, you want to do it. Especially if that little voice tells you to. I turn it on, I go in. Of course, there's like 3 or 4 minutes of blank. I'm here to see Cosmo Repo. Okay, have a seat. About 3-4 minutes of blank, light conversation between me and Lexi. Then he calls me back and tells me I have a seat. And he says, well, Mr. Stevens, you pissed someone off. You're going to do DOC, Department of Corrections. So I ain't got evidence. I ain't got witnesses I'm going to call. I'll see you in court. Get out of my office. I about fell over. I couldn't believe that. I just heard that. And I was like giggling to myself, oh my God, am I so glad. I hope I got that on tape. I hope I didn't mess it up. I hope I do. And I'm like, okay, dude, bye. I get outside and sure enough, I go to the house and it's recorded. I burn it on CDs. I go down to the public defender's office. I sign in and I said, you got 15 minutes to let me know what we're going to do about this, or I'm going to put this on the internet. It wasn't 5 minutes. The head of public defenders, the one I've been trying for months to talk to, all of a sudden was in the office and appeared in the lobby and said, Mr. Stevens, I'm so, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. And I said, look, we don't have a problem. You've got a problem. If you got a mouse in your pocket, then we have a problem. But I don't have a problem. What are you going to do? And we can't represent, nobody from this area can represent you through the public defender's office or whatnot. And I said, well, I thought that was a private, no, he was a public, that's when I found out, public pretender too. He said it's going to take us a day or two before we can get you set up. And little voice said, ask him if he's got Eric Marlowe. I don't know if this had anything to do with him becoming my attorney or not, but I did. I said, do you by chance have Eric Marlowe? And his words were, I don't know who we have. You know, one will be picked, this, that, and the other, and you'll be notified within a couple of days. I'd be damned if the next day I don't get a call saying my new attorney is Eric Marlowe. That I need to make an appointment with his staff as soon as possible so I could get in for my arraignment. Cool. Next day I get an appointment, Eric Marlowe. I walk in, he's like, hey, and I'm like, hey. And he's like, I don't care who pays me. What do you want to do? And I told him, like I told him when I come in, ask him about, represent me. I wanted to take a jury trial. I wanted to prove what narcotics and marijuana. And he said, okay, we'll do that, man. And he said, you got it. We'll do it. See you in court tomorrow. And we went to court, and of course, just in formality, pled not guilty. That's where he informed them we just taken it to jury trial and all. So I'm sitting back waiting for everything to happen. Well, it's the very next day I get a call from my attorney. And he says, man, I want to talk to you about something, but I don't want you to go off until you hear everything. Well, shit, that's not just putting the loaded revolver to your head. That's pulling the hammer back, Like, hey, I want to tell you something, but I'm not going to type deal. So, and I'm like, okay. And he starts out about the case. And he says it boils down to this. They want to do a competency hearing to see if you're incompetent enough to stand trial. And I started to go off. And he said, man, that's what I asked, Just think about things. Don't rush off. Think about things. I'm like, what do you mean think about things? They want to say I'm crazy? What the hell? And he says, well, that would have to go through the courts and all. We don't know what they're going to do. He's going to say, he says, but here's something you're not thinking about. And he said, I want you to think of all avenues. He said, this is like getting a get out of jail free card for a year. Oh, he got my ear. What? What'd you say? Get out of, like Monopoly, get out of jail free card? What are you talking about? That's what calmed me down and made me listen to the second half. He said, you sound really, really passionate about this marijuana thing. And I'm like, sure, yes, definitely. They waited till I was 50 years old, picked on me, now I want to kick their ass. He says, they can only have a competency hearing once a year. And if they were to find me incompetent on this charge, it would be another whole year before they could hold another competency to see if I'm mentally aware or not yet. And I'm like, so what's it? And he says, it's like this. He said, excuse me, as long as you do not commit a crime that involves violence, do drugs, steal, but, don't hurt nobody or nothing. And I'm like, what do you mean? He says, if you steal something at Walmart and you get caught, you go to jail, the judge kicks you out the next day, it's all over with. But if you kick or punch or hit somebody while you're doing it, you're going to sit in jail. Violence. Anything that don't involve violence will get kicked for that year. They can't put another competency. It's like a get out of jail free card as long as you don't hurt no one. And I'm like, really? And he said, man, all I'm asking is you think about it. And I told him, I said, I tell you what, you know, yeah, I'll give it a thought. See, you put it like that and all. That night is when I had my vision, my dream, my whatever you want to call it, you know, to clean off the decals on the RV and put marijuana stickers on it and do a petition across the nation, pretty much. Because sure enough, I call him up the next day and tell him, hey, you know, let's. You're my lawyer. I like what you say. I trust you. You know, you say I'm either going to get out of jail and not, I won't have the record, the charges against me or nothing. It's kind of like I got off of it, whatever. I can live with that, you know, if that happens. I don't want to be charged or have jail time. You know, they can throw it out any way they want, as far as I'm concerned. And he said, I think this is the way to go. And I said, well, let's play it your way. Let's see what they say. And the next day we was to our second court hearing. And that's where the judge ordered me to do a competency hearing, or a test, evaluation. And I had to report down to the probation office. That's just where the psychiatrist, I guess, meets you. They don't do it at the hospital. They sent me down to probation department. And, I mean, all kinds of questions and, the blots and tests, you know, with the squares and the pegs. Just, you know. I just did what I normally would do, you know. And sure enough, that I'm a long-haired white boy, they found me incompetent to stand trial. And the biggest thing that stood out on paper was the fact that it said that I smoke pot so I don't kill people. What the hell is wrong with that? You know? The whole world should be smoking pot. Maybe nobody kill people. But that is what started the whole 420 Jim thing. Changing the name, taking over Mount Rushmore for a day, Washington, D.C. march, all that stuff is all a different story. And if y'all help me build up the channel, get me likes and shares, and help me build up my subscriptions and stuff, come March 1st, I hope that my lives will all be out between here and Washington, D.C. as I attempt to go cross-country again. One last fight. I'm getting the vehicle. I got to wash the windows. It's bugging me. I need to wash my windows. They look so dirty now because the Kennebago's starting to look good, isn't it? Look at that. The Kennebago's looking good. I got to clean the windows though. Man, they look so bad. Now, here's the very first petition. Now, every 4 years I had to change it because the presidents change. If you hit screenshot, you'll be able to sign that. This one I just started a month ago or less is for elder abuse. I personally asked you to sign this one for me. I'm elderly and I'm being abused by some people that I'd really like to bring some attention to. Facebook, if you do Facebook, that'll directly link you to my Facebook page. If you'd like to get a decal, something like that or whatever, send me a few bucks on Cash App and I'll make a decal for you and put it up here on the Kennebago. You know, ride all the way to DC with me. I still got to letter the windows up. I've got to do that. I'm cutting the decals for the back now. Plus I got to letter the window. I think I've got the lettering cut out about scan the QR for the other side. See, this side I've got it labeled. I just haven't put it on the other side. I think I got it cut out, though. A friend donated $20 and had me put that cross on there for him. 1 cross plus 3 nails equal forgiven. Elder abuse. and then cannabis. Yeah, you got to excuse the tape. I've got my LEDs I've been gluing up. I've almost got all the LEDs on it for next year and everything. Got a super good deal on them on Cyber Monday. That's the only reason I got them. The only reason. Oh. Well, I do go on Facebook every evening about 7 o'clock. And if you'd like, find me on Facebook. It's really easy. I do a live there at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And then I'm starting to do the 420 here all the time. So join me when you can. I appreciate it. I'll give you a couple stories, couple photos, couple whatever. Try and, show you a few things that I've tried to accomplish over the last 10 years or what. Who knows what I've done personally accomplished? Probably nothing. Except from March 1st to 2014, I've caused conversation in every state in the United States of America. 36 of them personally. But if you really go look on the internet, especially back in 2013, 14, 15, when I first started out and all, there's thousands and thousands of stories. But, I'm not here to get famous or anything like that. I want this petition to go through this year. Nobody belongs in jail for weed. Trump's back in office. He needs to really do that for us. He does. He needs to. Look, they gave the pardon to the president's son over his drug thing and whatever. Just do it for the pot prisoners in America, in the federal cases. If they're in there for a pot charge alone, get rid of the pot charges, get rid of the pot records, and definitely take it out of the class 1 narcotic. That's a must. Oh, look, Lulu wants to show off. Oh, Lulu wants to show off. Her's a big show off nowadays. Yeah. Jack, sadly, is not doing too good. I give him about probably a week, maybe. I seen the same thing in my veteran Spinach dog when he passed away in Quartzsite, Arizona. Man, just about the same age and everything. So I kind of know what to expect and all. But I'll be surprised if Jack's with us another week. She's only 3. Huh. He was about 12 years older than you, huh? Yeah. I hope you have another dozen years of you. Oh, rascal. Well, I guess that's about it, huh, Lulu? Please join me over on Facebook if you like. And if you can, give a thumbs up, a thumbs down, a hello, a goodbye, subscribe. Any inner reaction does help. The haters finally figured that out and they quit hating on my channel. And the hate was actually bringing it up more than anything. But see, I won't hate back. I believe in Jesus as my Lord and Savior. And this year while I'm out, if you come and you meet me on my tour, I'd love to give everybody I see a little Jesus. So if you see me in your town coming through, no, they're not gummies. People ask me because, I wear a pot hat, pot shirt, whatever. Those aren't edibles, are they? Nope, I wouldn't eat them. They're just little plastic figurines. And it's just my way of reminding everybody needs a little Jesus. So, until tomorrow, my friends, or tonight on Facebook, it's all about peace, love, and cannabis for all. One team, one dream, united we stand, and if we try, we can all get along. My 2 fur babies, Jack and Lulu, love you, I love you, and Jesus loves you. Peace out. Hope to see you tomorrow right here.